Welcome to Adrenaline Motorsports. I'm your host, Fred Blanchard. Our guest tonight is Steve Montrelli, former professional engine builder, and currently very much involved with the drag race scene. And I'd like to introduce him this evening, and we're going to discuss things that relate to on-the-spot drag racing, things that have been going on in testing and programs of that style in NHRA drag racing. And Steve, welcome to our show. I greatly appreciate you spending the time with us to come to visit with us tonight, and like very much for you to elaborate a little bit on what is going on in testing before the big show, NHRA drag racing in Pomona, California. Give us an update as to the latest news as to what is currently happening with the top fuel dragsters, and a little bit information possibly on the funny car scene.
Good afternoon, Fred. Glad to be here. First thing, I guess, what would be news is that some of the top fuel cars are running down at West Palm Beach, Florida during this week, and are testing. There's about 4 or 5 dragsters down there and 4 or 5 funny cars. They're getting ready to go to the first race at Pomona, which is going to be the 50th anniversary race, and Don Schumacher's the Army car,
yes,
ran 375 today.
Well, isn't that a record?
That's a record for the 1,000-foot mark. Last year, the best run was about a 377. 3 cars during this week has run 376, 375, 375, and Larry Dixon's car also ran 322 miles an hour, and that's a mile-an-hour record. Well, all of these particular records are from 1,000 foot, which normally.
Would you like to explain the 1,000 foot to us, Steve? Some of the people out in our audience don't really understand the 1,000 foot part. I guess maybe you'd like to address what the quarter mile is, and then talk to us about the 1,000 foot and the reason for that.
Well, originally it's been 1,320 feet for 48 years, let's just say. And a couple of years ago, we've had some accidents happen and lost a couple of guys, and the cars are just absolutely going too fast. They were running 334 miles an hour in a quarter mile, which is 1,320 feet. They decided, because there was not enough shut-off area in a lot of the racetracks, to back up to 1,000 foot. The 1,000 foot gives you another 320 feet of shut-off area. And when they did this change, they also changed the chassis on the funny cars and the dragsters to put a lot more safety features in the cars. And since the change has been made, there has not been any large accidents. They seem to be going faster and faster again. No, they're almost back up to, they were running 4, what was it, 4, I can't remember what it was.
Well, the question, I think, it's pretty exciting to me that they're able to run those speeds. But is it because of the quality of the car or the quality of the drag strips they have to run on as to why they made the changes, or some of them, some strip owners are unable to make the changes in their facilities? And is there any new strips being built, any of that type of thing? Or
well, what they've done is they took at a lot of the drag strips, they've taken and they've gone as far down as they can. And in the finish line area where the cars stop, and they've put in fences and they've put in drag nets and things like you would see maybe like on an Air Force on a airplane boat. What do you call it? What I'm trying to say?
Well, it's where they
you know how they stop the jets.
Yes. Okay. Well, then they have retaining walls and protection for the stopping of the vehicles, trying to make it as safe as possible in that regard. But they've done a lot of things. I've seen sand in some of the places that they run it. They have, once the car runs off into the sand, that slows them down considerably. Is that still what they're doing?
Well, they're using some type of different sand, yes. And then, like I say, they've got like 3 protective walls that you can go into that
like a safety net type
safety
of a thing?
net, like
sure.
3 safety nets.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And they've gone as far as they can at all the racetracks.
Are they basically having the same amount of races that they had in years past, or they changed any of the locations that they're going to be racing at? Do you know?
Well, this coming year they've dropped 1 racetrack. Now it's be down to 23 races. There's been talk about maybe next year going down to maybe even 12 or 13 races. Because of the economy.
Well, that's the question I was going to ask next. How has the economy affected this style of motorsport?
Well, we've lost a lot of sponsors over the last 2 years because of the economy, and one of our veteran drag racers that's owned a car, driven a funny car, driven a dragster, has been around for 50 years in drag racing, has just retired, and his name is Don Perdome.
Oh my, that's really news. I've not heard of that. I guess it seems like to me that the sport has had an attrition of the loss of some of the famous names. Then,
well, there's not just him. The McMullen car that was running last year, they're retired. The Hartley car that ran 1 full season, which was their goal, their life. He wanted to do it one time, and their car is up for sale as I see this week.
Oh boy!
There's also some of the funny car guys, like a couple of the funny car guys cannot get any sponsorship, and they have said they're retiring.